Morning folks, Kevin here. Well, it's July 10th, 2017, and today's video is going to take us through the transition, prepping this trellis hoop tunnel area that we use for trellis for our vining species. This year we've got butternut squash and cantaloupe going up over each side, and in the center we prep it for growing our kale. Mainly this kale isn't for our daily consumption. We have plenty of kale otherwise that we harvest every week, and we freeze and we prep and we store. And this kale will be used for the ducks and the chickens, and it'll also be used for our seed production. So we each year, you may have seen in the other videos, in the springtime, you'll see this whole area is nothing but flowered, and same with this wooden raised bed here. So that both of those are planted with kale. They shoot up when the spring comes. Well, they don't shoot up. The plants are already there. The leaves, a lot of the leaves have been taken off, but they re-emerge and start producing flowers. They do produce leaf as well. And the flowers provide nectar and pollen for the bees, for all the insects around, and they bring in many beneficial insects. So, and then we use all of that seed, we store all that seed, we go through that process, and there'll be another video coming on that. But today's video is actually taking us through taking out the kale that's in there, the big kale seeds. I go ahead and I take that, and that's going to be covered in another video. But then we take out the material that's in there. So we got 2 long 4-foot wide weed mats on either side, and this time it's covered with wood chips because we had wood chips. Last year we didn't have it, we just had cardboard down in there. So underneath this wood chips are some cardboard, but I go through in the video and it's mostly time-lapse sort of video. First thing we do is we go ahead and harvest the kale that's there, then go ahead and pull out the weed mats, Broadfork, before Broadforking, going in and pulling out any of the little stumps of the kale plants that are there, or the root mass. Then we go ahead and Broadfork. Then I go and run the Tilther around one time, then add some of our seed starting mixes from the seeds that didn't germinate this year, and also some of our trays. We save all of our microgreen trays after we've harvested them, and that gets added to the compost that's there. Usually I have extra compost by this time and I add compost on top, but this year I didn't. Then the next thing to do is to go ahead and lay down cardboard that's been soaked under the eave of the house. We didn't have that much this year. And then the next thing is we put a layer of wood chips down the center of it. Then we bring in and start our drip irrigation after that for the plants that are going to be there. Then we bring in the weed mats again, set them on top of the drip irrigation. Then I put another layer of wood chips on top of that. We use quite a bit of cardboard. This year I didn't have quite as much. It's only maybe 4 or 5 layers, 6 layers thick. No tape is removed, no labels are removed. They've just been soaked some. If the labels and the tape are easily removed, that's okay. All of this will get broken down. Some of the tape won't get broken down, but we'll just pick it up next year when we go into the area, and you'll see some of that from last year as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. There's just a couple of times where I talk, but otherwise it's pretty fast and moves along. Well, thanks so much for watching, folks. Please be sure to leave a comment or ask a question. I'll eventually do a video response to the comments and questions as time permits. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now. Okay, I got just about all of the curly kale that had seed on it out. There's a couple small pieces. I got quite a few of the weeds up, but I wanted to show you. So we have the 4-foot weed mats on either side and on the end of this unit, right down going across. But last year at this time, we laid multiple layers of cardboard down to cover up whatever grass or whatever would start growing up in the aisle, in the central area, and across the front here. Now this stuff completely disintegrated right up here, but you can see where the cardboard was laying on top of the weed mat, and I'll show you, the weed mat actually is right over to here. The cardboard broke down into beautiful soil, but not all of the tape, especially the stuff really near the surface. The tape that was in the center, for the most part, completely broke down. And here we have some tape. The stuff, again, that's on top of this weed mat, you can see it's all underneath here, but the cardboard broke down. And again, more tape, primarily right around the margins, where it sat on top of the weed mat around the sides. So, if the tape is not, if it's exposed at all, or it doesn't have the appropriate fungi to get up to it, to break it down, it doesn't get broken down. But as you can see, all of that cardboard broke down, and we've got some nice soil right here in the aisle. I'll have to do some weeding. I'll take these weed mats out. I'll be replacing these soaker hoses with a with the drip line, like that one right there. All over it because it's been laying on the ground and getting wet. All the soil in the aisle was all cardboard last year. This is one of the ways that we do slow soil building.
we just got. Hank and I went picking for the beans today. Actually, they're snap peas. Big amount. And there's lots and lots more for next week. I'm just checking up on Kevin, make sure he's behaving himself.
So are you pretty quick to help me get the mats down in here?